how common miscarriages were. I'm pretty much going to tell you my story from the start because I think that it could help a lot of people, and I think it would offer quite a lot of education. Now, if you have clicked onto this video because you have suffered a miscarriage, first of all, please do not suffer in silence. It is so incredibly common. It's like 1 in 4 women will experience a miscarriage in their life, which is crazy. That's like 20%. Is it 20%? 25%. That's such a high number. I have absolutely no idea why miscarriages are a taboo subject. You should not feel embarrassed in the slightest. And for me, talking about it was my absolute therapy. The day I had my miscarriage, I decided to put a public post up on Instagram. Now, a lot of you will probably think that's a really strange thing to do because it's a very sensitive topic, it's very private, and to put it out so publicly, I mean, I can get why people would find that quite strange. But after doing that, it was probably the best thing that I probably could have done. I had so much support and...
Listen, man. HD Live, what's good, pimp? I want y'all to know something before my gladiator gets back. They're going to try to make all of these conditions of box, they're trying to make it normal. They're trying to get victim sympathy. They're trying to do something here, guys, and I hope you guys don't let them get away with this shit. Because I'm say I said my promise this morning. I see what they're doing. They're trying to let bad box be the commonplace, and niggas should show sympathy for them because they said so. It's the same thing, the reason why I started the Pussycat Facts Report, so you can beat them to the punch. See, they'll mess around and try to normalize this shit right in front of your fucking face, but you can take a different stance. You could say, nah, I want the good one. I'm telling you guys, if they try to normalize this bad box, it's every opportunity for us.
So many other people sharing their miscarriage stories, male and female. Although it was so horrible to hear these stories, but it made me feel not alone. I genuinely felt...
We know why. Misery loves company at its finest. Now, I'm telling you guys, they're trying to normalize this shit, okay? We know the rules right now. What are the rules right now? They must fleece the man first. They must cash in. Now, what women want to stand together? Yes. We want all y'all to stand over there on that side. Everybody with the bad pussy, with the fibroid, stand over there, please. And I want all of us guys to go the other way. King Disagreeable, what's good? It's Fibroid Awareness Month. I hope this Venus Williams and all that stuff make these women get a little more comfortable so that we can gun down all their bullshit talking points. And they're never going to come talk to people like us. Never. And they got to respect the fact that we not having... Oh, man. Come on. Here we go. They got to respect the fact that being that they can't have babies, then recreational use only. That's all we're saying. Hit the like button, hit the Cash App, let's go.
I was really stupid when I found out that I had a miscarriage. I felt embarrassed. I felt like my body let me down. Just so lost.
Come on, guys. We know this shit. But let me do something real quick so y'all know. Behind every bad box, y'all know the rest of it. Behind every bad box is a good man.
We can confirm that I am pregnant. We did see a little, like, I'm going to put a picture right now. We did see a little, like...
So there's the good man. There's the good man behind the bad box. Now let's move. Hold on. What she said? 10 days later, there was an empty womb. So that man got his heart broken. Let's go.
We can confirm that I am pregnant. We did see a little, like, I'm going to put a picture right now.
10 days later, there was an empty womb. Nothing in that bad box. Nothing in that bad box. You hear me? So when they come out trying to do fibroid awareness, trying to champion Venus Williams, look who has to cry, not her. Look who had their fucking hopes and dreams crushed, thinking that they had a good, wholesome woman. Nah, we not doing that. I wish they would come out talking this shit. There's a pain, hurt man behind these bitches with this bullshit. And they trying to come. You listen to this bitch. I didn't know miscarriages were so common. Yes, all y'all mismanage your box and y'all all got bad box. Stand to the right, please.
If you said to me a year ago that I would be making this video today, I wouldn't believe you.
Why? Why wouldn't she believe you? She got her man. She fleeced the man. All that man did was try to provide for her, protect her, and he wanted what he's supposed to get out of the deal. That a working pussy. Is that too much to ask for?
That I would be making this video today, I wouldn't believe you. I genuinely thought that this would never happen to me. Like,
brothers, I love all you classmates. We heard this. How many times have we heard this story? 1 million. Come on, man. They think they could come and see. It's the main reason why we made the Pussycat Facts report. They're willing to fuck you, love on you, play all these games with you until you come out with that slow baby or until you got to face all these box problems. So they're doing it again. They're trying to come out with the info first. Hell no. We got requirements. You cover you. What do we say? Miscarriages, fibroids. We covered everything. So we can come to you with this application, this Pussycat Facts report. You know, that man in the beginning, what does he know? He thought he was just meeting a good-looking woman.
Ever. I know that's probably quite ignorant of me, but I did not realize how common miscarriages were.
Right. She didn't know how common miscarriages were. Bitch is a liar. Look at her face. Come on, man. She knew it was going to be a struggle, and she knew this day was coming. They all know it. We stand by the bullet points over here, because if you one of these American bitches that, and we know you're a know-it-all, we know that you know this too. We know you giving out dark box. Could never play with me like that or any of my classmates.
I'm pretty much going to tell you my story from the start because I think that it could help a lot of people, and I think it would offer quite a lot of education.
Right. Had this never happened to you, you wouldn't be trying to educate nobody. Let's go.
And for me, talking about it was my absolute therapy. The day I had my miscarriage, I decided to put a public post up on Instagram. Now, a lot of you will probably think that's a really strange thing to do because it's a very sensitive topic, it's very private, and to put it out so publicly, I mean, I can get why people will find that quite strange. But after doing that, it was probably the best thing that I probably could have done. I had so much support and so many other people sharing their miscarriage story.
That is not a flex. That's not a flex. There's so many other people sharing the same bad box syndrome. That's not a flex. But you leave it up to these people. I'm telling you, don't let them do this to us, guys. I'll be here fighting for us.
It's male and female. Although,
trust me, we already know we was ahead of our time. Now that Venus and everybody coming out, you might, who knows? Because men like to stay away from this stuff. But if they do, at least you know we was first.
It was so horrible to hear these stories, but it made me feel not alone. I generally felt like I was really stupid when I found out that I had a miscarriage. I felt embarrassed. I felt like my body let me down. Just so lost, like incredibly lost. I felt like I had lost something that I hadn't even met before. And if you have experienced a miscarriage, you will know that feeling. That feeling of emptiness inside kills. I mean, you don't have to talk about it publicly like I did, but please talk to someone. There are some great charities out there. You've got the Miscarriage Association and also Tommy's. Tommy's is so great. You have
I'm telling you guys, I'm learning stuff here. I'm gonna look up how they make the Miscarriage Association.
There's some great charities out there. You've got the Miscarriage Association and also Tommy's.
And Tommy's. I need to find out how they created that, because I'm gonna create a space for men, the bitches with this badass pussy.
Tommy's is so great. You have a helpline and you can actually talk to a midwife. They have been amazing to a lot of you. So if you are really struggling, please give them a call. Okay, so I'm going to start from right from the beginning, like pregnancy in general. A lot of people asked, were we trying for a baby? And the answer was yes. And we managed to get pregnant in the first month, in the first go. And I was really, really shocked. I thought I'd be waiting a year, 2 years, and I allowed all that time as well, just in case. But yes, we were trying for a baby, and we did fall pregnant in the first month. So I took a pregnancy test after getting spotting when I was during my period. It wasn't like a full-on period. It was literally like you wipe a tissue and there was goodness. So the week before, I remember going to work to my office, and then when I came home, I just fall asleep straight away. And I never, ever do that. I was just so exhausted. So I had pregnancy-like symptoms, which urged me to take a test. I was so speechless. I think my mouth dropped to the floor. I was so happy. I'm keeping all of it as memories because it's a memory that you will never forget. But I took a lot of pregnancy tests. As you can see, that is positive.
These are psycho people, yo, when they trying to fleece you. Psychos.
And this is going to say pig, ironically, hugging the pig. And I was like, I'm pregnant. And his face just lit up. And we just like hugged each other for the longest time. And to some respect, I felt like I'd let him down once I had the miscarriage. Like, that's the first person I was really concerned about. I was like, I've really let Joe down. And that is definitely not the case. And he doesn't feel like that at all. But that's the first feeling I felt. Okay, so after having all the pregnancy symptoms and the implantation bleeding, so that kind of like spotting was implantation bleeding, I'm very sure of that. A lot of women do get implantation bleeding and they actually think it's their period when it's not. So beware. So the next stage, so I left it for a couple of weeks, and then someone told me about Ultrasound Direct, which is basically a company where you can book in a private ultrasound. The earliest you can go is around 6 weeks, and that is like the early pregnancy scan. You can also do another one at 16 weeks to get a scan, and you can find out the gender at that scan, and they also do other ones.
She kept the test. Platt, what's good? She kept the test so that she can make sure that he sees her acting like she didn't know it was going to happen. It's all a pony show, man.
As well. I just want to see my baby. Like, I want to see if I actually was pregnant. And I think a lot of women do this. Like, I took multiple tests, even after I'd taken like a couple of tests initially, because I didn't believe I was pregnant. Like, I just didn't believe it. So I booked a private ultrasound. It cost around £70. And the reason why I mentioned about this scan is because I genuinely feel like you should have a private ultrasound person on your phone. Like,
always something. Always something. Whoever thought box would be this complicated?
Had two ladies in there, and they were really welcoming. It was a really nice setup. So I laid on the bed, and I thought I had a full bladder, but I hadn't. So they asked me to go to the toilet. I did. We can confirm that I am pregnant. We did see a little, like, I'm going to put a picture right now. So you can see it's super healthy. I'm just a little bit too early. So we have booked again for 2 weeks' time. So we're going to come down 2 weeks' time, and hopefully we'll be able to hear a heartbeat. Today, I also want a confirmation if it was like, if I had like twins or triplets or something. There's only one. And
you want to see somebody get fleeced in their face? This is fleecing a man in his face.
So we're going to come down 2 weeks' time, and hopefully we'll be able to hear a heartbeat. Today, I also want a confirmation if it was like, if I had like twins or triplets or something. There's only one.
At this point, he's thinking, yo, I got me a wholesome thing. I know she put me through a lot of shit, but I'm willing to deal with it. I want to have a baby with her. Let's go.
In there, so I don't have my twins. I really want twins, though.
I know you did.
Let's.
But also, you have to remember, Brett is older than you, wasn't a twin. My dad, Tony, not a twin.
Yeah.
The second child was a twin.
They always, yeah, and also with my, with second babies. So
my dad and Morris are the second baby.
Oh, really? Okay.
So maybe it's like once you break the seal, one pops out, and then the next time that seal opens is a bit too big and two pop out.
Who knows?
You never know. That's my scientific analysis of how.
Look at that happy man. Look at that happy man.
Eggs work.
Yeah, they offered another scan free of charge so that we can come back and hear a heartbeat, hopefully. So this is where things go quite bad. So after the internal ultrasound, so that was on the Friday, and then on the Monday, I started to get spotting. Now, the spotting wasn't blood, but it was like a light brown discharge. Initially, I wasn't too worried because I read online, as you do, Dr. Google, and a lot of people say that bleeding in early pregnancy is very common. So I wasn't too alarmed. So I thought I'd leave it a couple of days. So it got to the Thursday, and I was still having this kind of brownish discharge, and I was actually starting to get worried. So I called the early pregnancy people in my area, and they reassured me not to worry. It was probably from the internal scan. They probably dislodged a bit of old blood, and they just basically told me that was nothing to worry about and it was very normal. That kind of made sense to me. So I thought, okay, well, let's just monitor this and see how we go. I left it a couple of days and it actually got better. So it got better before it got worse. So that rest of the week played out, the weekend. Now the Monday is when I start to have real problems. So I remember Monday, I just felt so sick. I personally thought it was pregnancy symptoms because miscarriage and pregnancy symptoms can get a bit mixed up. So for me, I felt really sick. I felt quite dizzy, like I'd been a bit spaced out, a bit giddy. But I wouldn't say it was like full dizziness, but I was a bit giddy, a bit spaced. I started to get cramps in my left hip, but they weren't severe. They felt like growing pain. Breathe. Bleeding is common. A lot of people have their periods during pregnancy. I thought I'd leave it till the next day. So the next day happened in the morning. I woke up around 7 o'clock and there was just blood, like fresh blood. And I remember running to the toilet and just thinking, I knew. When I saw that, I knew that this potentially was a miscarriage. Like this just wasn't normal. So the first thing I did, it was 7 o'clock in the morning. I called my, the hospital I was meant to go and have my ultrasounds. I called their department and I spoke to a midwife.
You see that? Now the worry comes in there. Here's the worry. My fleece job is not falling through. Very worried.
Explained everything, but then she didn't really say anything. She just kind of said that I called the wrong department and she gave me another number. So I called the other number, which was the early pregnancy unit that I had spoken to in the week, and I just couldn't get through. Honestly, getting through to that number is next to impossible. I remember when I called up about my bleeding prior in the week, I'd spoken to a midwife and she just literally said, I need to call this number. I just don't know. I just felt like that appointment within the hour at the same place. I did have to spend another £70, but I just needed to know what the hell was going on. I was so scared. So before going, I remember necking back a whole bottle of water and I also had a whole cup of tea because I wanted my bladder to be full. Joe drove, we went up to Bristol, and I think it was a mixture of the cramps, the nervousness, but I really needed the toilet. Like I could not hold this. I could see blood clots coming. Has been such an amazing support for all of us, haven't you? You've been so we got to the clinic, we went in, sat down, and when we were there, this other couple came out and I think they just found out the gender of their baby and everyone seemed really happy in there and they came out really happy. I mean, I was so happy for them, but it was so horrible to see. Like in my mindset, I mean, it's such a beautiful moment, but I just knew that I'd lost my baby and I was just like, oh my God. So I'll go in. Turns out my bladder was still full and she rubbed the gel on and she did the ultrasound and there was nothing on the screen. There was nothing there. And I remember Joe's head literally like falling into his hands.
I remember Joe's head like literally falling into his hands. This is what my brothers go through. Well, men, this is what men go through. All for what? All for what? This misleading person with the bad box.
There was nothing on the screen. There was nothing there. And I remember Joe's head literally like falling into his hands. The midwife was amazing, by the way. She was so sweet. She was like, okay, I'm going to have to do an internal scan again. So yeah, empty your blood and come back. And when I went to the toilet that time, there was more blood. And I knew, I was just like, this is gonna confirm that I had miscarried. So I did the internal scan again and there was nothing there. And she was like, I'm really sorry, but there's nothing there. And in the scan, they could see that there was a little bit of like tissue left. And she explained that I would probably expel that in the next coming days. Ew. I burst into tears, but I tried to compose myself. So then she continued to scan the rest of my area. Bless her, she was like, do you want me to turn the screen off? But I said no, because I'd like to see if everything's okay. She went on to say that both my ovaries were super healthy, the womb was healthy, and that is reassuring in itself, but it doesn't give any answers as to why I miscarried. And I asked those questions and she said most likely it was probably like a genetic thing, like a chromosomes, and it was my body telling like the baby wasn't going to survive it. And she did say that my body was expelling the tissue naturally, but she said it's probably likely that there was something really wrong with the baby. So yeah, that was the scan done, and Joe and I went back to the car and we just cried our eyes out. I think a lot of people forget that I know it's the woman that's going through the miscarriage, but it does have an impact on the other half as well, on the other person.
What I tell y'all, not many people want to talk about what men go through. And she sat there and saw it. She was the reason. And what was she happy about? That her miserable ass had some company. You know? People are wicked, man.
Person, male or female. You know, Joe had to grieve as well, so we just cried our eyes out. We got home. When I got home, I just got into bed and just sobbed my heart out. I don't think I've ever cried that much in my life. I was so sad, and I actually turned around to Joe, and I don't know if this was like because of the hormones at the time and just everything that happened. I literally turned around to him and said, I don't want to be here. Generally, in that moment, I felt like if someone could just switch the lights off for me, I'd be more than happy with that. Probably was a mixture of the grief, the hormones, just everything. But in that moment, I generally felt, yeah, turn the lights off. So that's why I wrote the post, because at that moment in time, I felt really, really lonely.
Like I said, Joe loves her. He's not going to leave her. He gives her the ability to stand upright. All he got to do is leave her. Like, she knows Joe is the right man.
And although I was reading stuff online, it just wasn't relating to me because I didn't know that person like online. After I did that Instagram post, I had so many of my own friends who I knew very well from school come forward to say that, Simone, this actually happened to me. And I was just like, oh my goodness, I had no idea. And these ladies have kids now. And they were so reassuring. They talked me through their experience, which was very much identical to mine. It was just so nice to hear that everything will be okay. Do you know what I mean? Like, that was just huge to me. Although miscarriages are common, a lot of people don't talk about it, and no woman, no person should suffer in silence. So I'm so grateful for anyone who offered their support or messaged me with their story, because that helped a lot. I generally feel like if I hadn't put that Instagram post up, I'd probably be still feeling like absolute rubbish. I'd still be blaming myself for the miscarriage. I'd just be beating myself up. And I don't think that's good on anyone's mental health. Hence why speaking was my absolute therapy. And even
that's a lie. That's a lie. Only thing that's holding her up is the fact that Joe didn't leave.
Been talking about this on this channel through this video, it's making me even more come to terms with it. And I know for a fact that I will become a mum one day. I'm very positive. I just happen to fall within the stat of 1 in 4 women to experience a miscarriage. I feel much more positive about everything, and I'm so grateful for you guys sharing your story. Honestly, you helped me. But I promise you out there, if you're going through the same, you will get through this. You can get through this. Please speak about it. It's not embarrassing. This happens all the time. I urge more women to talk about it.
You can't rock with these people, son. Look, let's make bad box normal. Listen.
Please speak about it. It's not embarrassing. This happens all the time. I urge more women to talk about it. Let's talk about it. It's so natural. It's so normal.
I agree. Only problem, the reason why you know this person is a phony is because she's talking like that with Joe. We're talking about, let's talk about it when you approach a new man. Put that on your dating profile. Like, let's talk about it. You know what I'm saying? Let men know what's up ahead of time. So it's all bullshit. You understand?
And no one should suffer in silence. So a common question I had for these ladies that I'd spoken to, I asked them how long did they bleed for. Some was a week, 2 weeks, and the most I think was about 3 weeks.
Let's move on, man. It's all bullshit. All right, got some gladiators for you. You know, it's a special month for the gladiators. You class, you don't understand it. It's actually a special month for gladiators. Fribroid Awareness Month. My gladiators in the building, so I'm a little bit tamed.
And you should be allowed to feel, regardless of what those facts are.
Yeah.
I should be allowed the opportunity for my body to work right.
Amen.
Regardless of what the facts are, I should feel like my body should be working right. Amen. Praise Jesus. Amen. Brothers, I hope this stuff comes to the forefront. The only thing that I'm hoping is that men don't try to take this. Well, they will. The sympathetic approach after we done showed each other. Look how the men they got our men fucked up. Nah, this is supposed to be the moment when you are at war and the enemy believes that they can show you their weakness, or you at war and somebody puts up a fake retreat or some fake negotiations like Trump and them did. Fake negotiations. Yeah, they trying to negotiate right now. Let's bomb them, son. You understand? This is bullshit.
Yes, I should be allowed the opportunity to care about.
Right, HD Live. We don't even want to talk about that. Let's talk about how you got it then, okay? This dude ordering chicken wings with barbecue sauce and all this blood clot. This dude. Great question. Thank you for asking the question. And I like HD's question. Why did I have to order chicken wings with the blood clot sauce? So why they judge short guys? They shouldn't worry about height then. Great question. It's called systemic programming. You see what I'm saying? And then the second thing is they know that you don't know about what's happening to that box. And let me play something real quick, man. They believe that let me show you how they think of brothers. Hold on. Let me show you something. My gladiator's in the building, but I don't give a fuck right now. Hit the Cash App. My gladiator gonna kill me. Hold on. Let me make sure I got the right video. She gonna kill me for this shit. I'm in here talking. But all I say, look, it's awareness month. You know, I take that stuff serious. Hold on.
You guys feel like
here we go. This is how they think about you, nigga. You sitting there like, are you crazy?
Because I'll stop doing it.
Listen to this. You don't gotta have no charm. You gotta hit the Cash App, son. The Cash App is right there. Anyway, check this out, homie. This is what they think how you treat your eggplant. And this is why the question that HD Live asks, why do they worry about short guys and all that? Because they know you don't know nothing about box. And they believe that you think like this.
I know. I stopped talking to. This is my argument here, right? I no longer talk to women about. But that's my point.
Why is it a negotiation?
Your negotiating skills do go down if you already gave up the coup. That is a common sense. It's not even a bad thing.
Can I ask a question? Why do I need to
actually walk it down?
But I mean, at the same time,
just be honest.
I'm not trying to be funny, but I've seen on social media your vagina man want some damn money.
Liberated culture.
A lot of your sons, your husband, your man, it's just a lot easier to be on that.
I actually had thousands of
argument was
like 45 minutes.
We can't hear you that good. That's why.
My vagina, everybody.
Y'all.
Here we go.
Go ahead,
so, and so my concern is that we are not holding men to a higher standard physically either, because I feel like y'all give away your genitalia just freely. Cute, ugly, short, tall, fat, skinny, whatever. Y'all
see that?
Freely. Cute, ugly, short, tall, fat, skinny, whatever. Y'all just be giving it away, handing it out like cards. You done bought 5,000 business cards and you just handing it to anybody. And some kind of way that doesn't matter. But aside from that, if I have to keep something from you to make you act like a good person, to make you act like a husband, a boyfriend, or whatever, if I have to hold something back, if I have to use something to make you act a certain way, I don't want you. Because if you need to be coerced, that's manipulation. I'm going to hold this back so that you'll be a good boy. That is dumb. Because what we do to our bodies is of nature. It is a natural thing that happens. Attraction happens. The act of sex happens naturally. It is what our bodies do. Now, do you give it away to everybody? Absolutely not. You shouldn't want to. Your body should not react to that many people because it shouldn't be that easy.
There you have it, man. There you have it. The blonde in the middle, how much? My God. Damn. To be her real deal? Hadn't thought about it, but I guess I'll just. I want 2,000. I want 2,000. Can't get me in trouble, man. My gladiator's here. Can't get me in trouble. Bitch be hovering by my door.
You guys feel like
hovering by my room and shit.
Maybe everyone else is right, and that's just not what you do. That's just not
exactly. And you should be allowed to feel, regardless of what those facts are.
Yeah,
I should be allowed the opportunity for my body to work right.
Amen. Yes,
I should be allowed the opportunity to care about myself enough to say this is what I want for myself. But now I got to second guess whether I even want that. Can I want that? Have I done enough? And it's like, I've done enough. I've done enough.
Exactly. Girl, well, we could just go on and on just about, the experiences, and we will do some of that. But I want to give you a proper introduction to the women here.
Marriage and bridal, we weren't on the cover of any of the bridal magazines, and there was this feeling of like, do they not think we get married? And so she started Chocolate Brides, and so I was among all these wonderful women who they were there about getting married, but then that community felt so great that people stayed when they were getting married and buying a house, having a baby, whatever. And that was the first place I heard people mention infertility. And I thought, okay, well, I didn't know that Black people did that, but good luck to them. And then when it happened to me, I was like, oh, this is those weren't just one-offs. This is the thing. Okay. And then I wanted to talk about it because I was so frustrated. And being on Chocolate Brides, I could share it, but I felt like I needed to get this out in a bigger space. So I started looking for blogs, looking for other places, and there were no Black women talking about it. And so I decided to just start a blog and just start saying exactly what I was thinking and saying exactly how I was feeling. And then my husband and I were getting close to our 5th anniversary. And I was like, it would be nice for us to kind of give back to other people who are dealing with stuff that we are dealing with. And so we looked into how to make the blog into an organization. And that's how it kind of grew into that. And we did a gala here in Chicago, and we're able to raise money, and we donated to the K Foundation, and we partnered with Fertility Centers of Illinois, but just really trying to bring awareness.
Yeah. What is all that for us? That's ammo. We want to start our nonprofit organization going against this shit and how they mentally ruin men, mismanaging themselves and bringing that shit forward. It should be a discretionary clause that a man should not have to find that shit out after he marries your ass. Because it's all planned. He doesn't live a good quality of life that he should.
And from there, it just kind of has grown into this ongoing staple of resources and empowerment. My goal has been to make sure that people know, number one, that this isn't new to Black people. So there's always been, for the entire time I've had the blog, which is I think going to be 13 years this year, long time, there's always been a list on there of other African Americans who have experienced infertility or who have used a gestational carrier or who have adopted. Because we always hear, I didn't see anybody look like me. I didn't see anybody look like me. And it's like, we're here. We're just not always the headline story. And even if we are.
Ma'am, you want to know a secret? Black box ain't shit. That's what the story is. I know you think you saying an empowered thing. No. You got men over here that realize you was holding what we had. We thought Black box was the best. That shit ain't shit.
It's big one day, and then we don't talk about it anymore for another few years. So I've always kept a list of that. And then I also keep a list of what are the resources out here for us? Where do we go? Where do we find community? Even if it's just on Instagram, or are there websites? Are there funding opportunities? Because there's so many different layers and levels of this, from mental health to your quality of life to all these other things. So I try to make sure that those things are there. And also it's a space for people to feel empowered. So when reporters reach out or researchers reach out, I present those opportunities to the women in the Broken Brown Eggs Shell Shock, our support group, to let them know this is an opportunity for you to speak to a reporter. This is an opportunity for you to do this research, because it's about all of us feeling empowered and not alone.
Empowered and not alone. Against who? Against who? The uninformed. The uninformed. Who's the uninformed? All the dudes. She already fleeced her husband.
And that there's an actual community for us. So it's grown bigger than I thought it would be, but it has been such a help to me in terms of just keeping me motivated and keeping me feeling like I'm not crazy when I'm feeling.
But I tell y'all, misery loves company. It's a benefit to me. I ain't the only one with the bad box. All my sisters got it.
In terms of just keeping me grown bigger than I thought it would be, but it has been such a help to me in terms of just keeping me motivated and keeping me feeling like I'm not crazy when I'm feeling like, what is this and why can't I figure it out? You know, Black women are always expected to figure it out. And the Broken by Neck has helped me verbalize those moments where I'm like, I can't figure it out, but let me tell you what this is.
Yes.
I may not have the answers, but let me tell you about this.
That's right. And you and I just had a conversation that I want to share with the group because it was great. I mean, we talked about how Black women are expected to push through. And, you know, when we talk about the whole fibroid conversation, we constantly talk about having to push through pain and push through, you know, anemia, pushing through the fatigue, pushing through the pain all the time. And so we are constantly, you know, pushed to push through. And then we also have this extra added pressure on top of it. So it's like
what? Like what? Like what? Like what? Brothers, if you ain't never seen the Gladiator BW exposed, this is when you see it. Over here, where it's real at. Like, you see that anybody that takes the class over here knows this woman is talking a bunch of bullshit. And they can't be real. Why? Come on, you know why. It's regarding their pussy, nigga. It's what they hold up against you like a carrot or some bullshit. Come on, man.
We are constantly in this space of pushing and pressure and pushing and pressure, you know?
Why? 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 Because you were systemically programmed to have a whole phase in your 20s, wait to get to your 30s to try to have a baby. When Kevin Samuels told you hit the wall, you thought it was your physical features. You thought you could still fleece a man because Black men love pussy. Turns out your pussy ain't shit.
No.
Yeah. And he can't turn it off, you know, and it's to the point where it almost plays tricks on you because you don't even really know, when am I allowed to rest? When am I allowed to be upset? When am I allowed?
Ma'am, when you got good box, don't you get it? You listen, all your life, you thought you had good box. All your life. All your life. Now you talking about when do you get the rest? You didn't want to rest when you had good box. When everybody's telling you, yo, you got to slow down and have some babies. You like, family what? Now you want to give some brother some old and decrepit ass eggs and mad that those don't work. I'll be damned.
And he can't turn it off, you know, and it's to the point where it almost plays tricks on you because you don't even really know, when am I allowed to rest? When am I allowed to be upset? When am I allowed to want this? Should I not want this? I don't see anybody that looks like us, so maybe I'm not welcome here. Like, you know, like today, like, you know, Eric, because we talked about it, but like my phone basically caught on fire last night. The port was smoking, it was a whole thing. And so today it's snowing in Chicago. And I took the day off because I was like, I don't want to drive that far, 45 minutes without a phone. And that makes perfect sense. And for an hour and a half in my head, I was going, but I can't just call off. I can't just, what am I supposed to do? And I know there are other people who don't feel like that, but every Black person I know, when we call off work, when we take a day for ourselves, when we miss an event, it's this weight of, oh no, this is going to look badly on me in the long term. And that push is everything. And the same thing with infertility and reproductive health issues. It's how many times do those of us who've experienced, you know, issues with our periods or fibroids or endo have a day where it's like, I really don't want to be out in public and I don't know if I'm going to ruin my clothes. But
there you have it. I got to push through. So who gave you that bad box? Any man do that to you?
I can't call off. I got to be there. I got to be the girl that shows up. I got
to be the girl that shows up. I can't be a married woman and a kept woman. I can't do that. Because then the man that know my box ain't shit. And I got to make sure he know I'm just as strong and I can throw this box anywhere. I can't let him know my pussycat facts report because he'll know the truth about me. And he probably won't be loving on me like that. So I got to make sure I show up to work.
can't show that I'm upset today. I have to make sure that I'm pleasant. There's all this pressure on top of pressure, and there's no release valve. And what that turns into is you eating bad, you binge watching stuff that you.
All the pressure at work makes you eat bad. Oh, the pressure at work, but you should be a kept one. Oh, you don't look good enough. Oh, so then you start eating bad, and you know you don't look good enough. Oh, okay.
You shouldn't, you start to self-medicate because there's no place for us. There's no rest for us.
So you start medicating. So you're a doctor now. You can't just say that. Medicating on what? Oh, contaminating your body that you already know is fucked up. Okay, got it. Oh, you educated. Okay.
And it's so unfair. It's so unfair.
Yeah, no rest for the weary. Honey.
Unfair to who? Who's the secondary factor? Who's causing it? Where should the fairness come from? I tried to tell y'all before and y'all laughed at me. Almighty God. That's who they talking to. I'm telling y'all think this shit is a game. They're talking to God. It's so unfair, God. I've showed you it many times.
You binge watching stuff that you shouldn't, you start to self-medicate because there's no place for us. There's no rest for us. And it's so unfair. It's so unfair.
Yeah, no rest for the weary, honey. Never.
Yeah. I used to get people who would say, why do you need a space for Black women? Why does it have to be? Because infertility affects all of us. I would get a lot of those messages. And it was like, well, yeah, but there are different layers to my experience of it than yours. It may be painful for you and painful for me, but your pain.
No, Brandon, this is different. The problem is it's all they got to hang over the Black man's head. So they're complaining. This is real. This is the only real complaint. Everything else you could forget about it. This is the real one. Okay. And see, these people could probably be married and already flee somebody. They're trying to allegedly help the younger women with health. But who's going to help the younger men? Us.
Painful is different. It's just, it's in my neighborhood, there is a lack of pharmacies. There's a lack of fresh grocery stores.
Right. Is there a lack of hair stores? In your neighborhood, there's a lack of fresh food grocery stores. You believe that lie?
It's in my neighborhood, there is a lack of pharmacies. There's a lack of fresh grocery stores.
Who believes that? Who believes that one? Who believes she can't find a grocery store? Who believes that she can't find a fruit market? Who believes it? Now, I would say, could she find a hair store?
May be painful for you and painful for me, but your painful is different. It's just, it's in my neighborhood, there is a lack of pharmacies. There's a lack of fresh grocery stores. There is clinics for dialysis and this, that, and the other. But in your neighborhood, I see a fertility planning center and a dermatologist and all these other specialist services that say that you deserve it and I don't.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
What?
Yes, the infertility is painful, but also so is my feeling that I don't even deserve to want more for myself. I'm supposed to be comfortable and just be happy. Just be glad that, you got a good job. Just be good with the job.
Yeah,
that's more than you expected to get.
Yeah.
I'm telling y'all something. It's real. It's just that the reason why we exist, we are the other side to this. This is not the fun-loving thing. Ma'am, you're holding the prized possession that the Black man wants. No.
That are people who already have children saying, you don't want this, this English job, you don't want this, girl, take your time, just like people tell you, Mary, take your time, you don't want to do this, and focus on your career, focus on this and that, focus on something else other than what your spirit is telling you to focus on. That part, is really what gets, my spirit. That's the part that bothers me so much, is that we are self-sabotaging each other.
Yes.
And each other,
Yeah.
One of the things I wanted to talk about too is, in our initial conversation when you were saying that why you started Broken Brown Egg. Fibroids had something to do with it. I'm gonna let you tell that story in your own words.
For me, it was more PCOS. But when I was learning,
there you go, guys. Other terms that you are familiar with, that you have learned, brothers. That makes me proud. You hear me? They start throwing up terms. This is right. This is just the voices in their heads, man. These people are sick. This is the only way that you can find out how sick people are. Not none of that twerking in the restaurant. None of that stuff. This is the real deal. Okay? You want to see like cuckoo? You want to see some cuckoo shit? Cuckoo. This is cuckoo.
More about what things were affecting us differently. That's when I started to learn about fibroids and endometriosis and even PCOS in general I had never heard of.
Yeah.
And there were all these commercials.
They fighting them box demons, son. Yo, son. I'm glad you here, Pimp. I'm glad the brothers are here. The class is in session. It's nothing that you are not learned about. It's just a different character trying to put a different spin on it. You have your PCF report, you have your bullet points, you have your education. This is now, these are the practices to where you can't let nobody lie to you. You know everything already.
And even PCOS in general I had never heard of.
Yeah.
And there were all these commercials that would play on the black stations here in Chicago. I would hear these radios say, here's your treatment for fibroids with no hysterectomy needed and all these things. And it was always with like Anita Baker in the background or something. And I remember I was always like, well, what the heck is what even is that? And I remember that a friend and I, when I was learning about my PCOS and she was trying to get a diagnosis for hers, we spent a lot of time sitting in emergency rooms and in doctor's offices together, because when I didn't have insurance or when she didn't have insurance, we were just each other's waiting room buddies. And I remember us being at one of the hospitals on the south side of Chicago, and they had just ushered all these Black women into this waiting area where they were all waiting to get x-rays or ultrasounds. And I remember there was a lady sitting with us, and we had to be in our early to mid 20s. And she was at least in her 40s. And she was on the phone and she was in tears because she was saying to her friend, they say, I have fibroids. I don't know what that is. I'm sitting in this room. I'm waiting for somebody to come talk to me. And there were like 6 of us in this waiting area. There was no one at the reception. There was one.
There you have it, pimping. Bunch of bad box in the barrel. I'm telling y'all what's going on. They're trying to make it sexy. That's the best word I could come up with. They're trying to make it sexy. And I'm telling you, brothers, I know that you can't catch a disease from it or anything, but this is the ultimate disqualifier. For what? For being short. This is like for being short. This is for like having a miniature eggplant. This is all that type of stuff that you get disqualified for. You understand me? They're trying to make it sexy against you. You niggas don't get it, man.
One girl, they wheeled her in and just left her. And we were just kind of all sitting there. And I just remember feeling like, what does this say about what they think about us? That
here we go. Plain. What do they think about us? Right. Bad box, no insurance. Why, King? See, this is what they're doing. A lot of times that stuff is cosmetic or private, insurance-wise, right? So they're trying to get federal money. And I say we supposed to be a part of that. I'm gonna look that shit up, man, in my spare time. Because I'm not letting this shit go without a fight, B. They cannot monetize this bad box right in front of our faces. And we don't get our aspect of it because we're dealing with men's mental health, grief, call center, meetings and programs for men that's hurt. You know, just a lot, man. This ain't no one-sided show. And they won't think about hold on. And they won't think about all this day with Brad, though. I don't know, man. I can't say that. They're looking to fleece anybody. See, all this other stuff ain't got nothing to do with Brad. All that stuff is dead. Everything you learn is accurate, but that's not the real final final fight. The final fight is after they got the guy. Fleeced them, made them love her. Then he running back and forth to the hospitals with these people. Now, these people are saying that they was in their 20s. So what does that mean? They gave up bad box all the way till they got married. It's past the regular stuff. This is the core.
We don't even deserve to know, and we don't deserve the compassion of being aware of what's going on with our own bodies. And they just throw words at you.
So who's the beneficiary of that bad act? You or the dude?
Fibroids, endo, thyroid. They just throw these words at you, and you're supposed to just take that. And now I'm going to be this patient who understands that. I'm going to do the right thing. When in many cases, we don't even have the same relationship with doctors that other cultures have. So she had no idea how to ask them in that moment, wait, slow down. What are fibroids? Instead, it was, here's this, go to this, take this, sit over here. And it was this assembly line feeling of like, we don't matter.
Yeah.
We don't even matter.
Yeah.
And that was one of the reasons why, you know, when I was first looking at the broken bright egg, it was infertility is unfair and infertility is not, you know, something talked about. And then it grew into this concept of this is really a social justice. And
here we go. Here we go. Social justice. Here we go. And guess who's not in this fight? The brothers, the main ones that's getting fleeced. Crazy work. Crazy work. Crazy work. That's why she brung up eating. Come on, man. Come on, man. Right. To set the whole argument of dipping the accountability. Facts. Facts. That's the key. She didn't know how to act. Right. right. She know how to cuss you out real good. Man, this is the core. This is the core of this shit, man. I mean, if you can't get a kick out of this, somebody lying over the most prized possession that they say the black man wants, I don't know what to tell you, man. I already know you thinking that they wholesome. I already know. I know you don't know nothing about this shit.
Reproductive justice issue.
Yeah.
Because your right to be aware and to feel empowered.
Your right to be aware of your bad box, then be empowered with your bad box. Now, why is that important? Because when she's getting this diagnosis, ain't no man around. Can't no man sit there and say, oh, right, that right there. Oh, I don't deal with that. I go get somebody that ain't got to do that. That's why. Empowered in secrecy. Right. Gladiators. Who gonna check me, boo? Gladiators. But yeah, but I don't know how to act. I'm a female. Right.
The justice issue.
Yeah.
Because your right to be aware and to feel empowered, that's a right. You should know what's going on with your body. You should have the ability to speak back to a doctor, and you shouldn't be treated that way at a doctor's office. You shouldn't even be treated that way. So it was totally eye-opening to me because she was, you know, you're looking at, you know, when you're 20, you think somebody that's 40 is like an adult.
Yeah.
And so to see her so scared and to hear her be so choked up and be alone and feel like I have no idea what fibroids are. And they're saying,
why is she alone? Like, you don't get away with none of this stuff. They taught you to be that way and you agreed. And guess what? You ain't say no dudes was in there. Let's go.
And I have them. She was terrified. And I remember from that moment on, it was like, no, this is a justice issue. This is bigger than just,
that's right.
This is bigger than babies. This is how we're treated as Black women and how we're respected and thought of.
I did not see this video. I just know, I know how this shit go. I mean, like I said, they talk about niggas that's short, niggas that got miniature eggplants, niggas that's this, niggas that's that. But something that's regularly nature, like, a short dude, is injustice. You believe that shit? Why? Because they want to go to the damn auto shop, get the damn totaled car fix, and try to clean up the Pussycat Facts report. Yo.
Yeah, I mean, I have that same sentiment. I look at the work that we do as fibroid awareness advocates as a medical, political, social, personal movement.
See that? Trying to leave us out of this money once again. I keep telling you, but people laugh at me. See, when I say, yo, we got to make this movement, son, to stop this shit. Nah, they really trying to make moves. And I told y'all before, they got Rizza Islam down with them. Nah, man, fuck that. There's some other shit that's killing my black men. Fuck that.
I like to use that phrase a lot because it's all encompassing, our care from head to toe that is centrally focused at our core, because our core is what's.
Listen, brother. Listen, King Disagreeable. I've never been treated like shit by a doctor because you didn't have the ultimate problem, nigga. Can't nobody be equal to you that faces the ultimate problem because of their own negligence. You wouldn't do this to yourself to be facing this ultimate problem with a doctor like, man, how you expect me to help you with that badass box? And what's the last thing they want to do? Go through the history of that box and why it's bad? They just want to get fixed. You're never going to face these situations. It's the prized possession, that hereditary. And everything that the black brother said, yo, get married early, do what you got to do, power bond with a man. And they say, no, I'm waiting till my 30s to have my baby. Who can stop that? Not even the doctors.
Being affected by all of this. For those of you who are just joining us or who've been on for a minute, she's made a lot of references to PCOS. If you don't know, that's polycystic ovarian syndrome.
That's right. Talk that talk. Talk that talk for the class. That's what we talking about.
It's a condition in which the ovaries produce an abnormal amount of cysts.
Talk.
Or androgens that produce cysts in the ovaries. So some women do have that. And so what we're also finding after my discussion with scientists is that there's a commonality. There are, women who may have fibroids, and then they'll also find themselves with these other reproductive health issues accompanying.
If that's not bad box, you tell me, HD Live. What qualifies for bad box? 1, 2, 3, plus the poor diet, plus the wicked lifestyle.
This or endometriosis, all of which I have had.
Praise Jesus. When is the truth? When do the truth come out, HD Live? When that box go bad. You see that self-admittance? Yeah, I got it all. Fibroids, PCOS, and endo. Nah, you see how I wear my curly hair and you might think I'm sexy, but I got this going on the inside. You want some of that? No. You got somebody else who don't got all that? You got somebody else who don't got all that?
This or endometriosis, all of which I have had. And we're still working on trying to figure out all these links, if there are true links to it. So I wanted to explain that to some of the women on here. And I also wanted to talk a little bit more about.
You might be right, man. I'm gonna have to I'm gonna say yeah, because we've seen it enough times. They want to be. You hear what they say? Endo warrior, PCOS journey. So I agree. Because this is the USA Fibroid Center. So she definitely wants to be a superstar.
You'll work with BDE. So let's talk about some of the initiatives and accomplishments that you've made with Broken Brown Egg since it started. Talk to me a little bit about that.
Yeah, so one of the biggest things that I'm really proud of is our Shell Shock group, which I don't talk about it as much as I probably should have. But when I first started the Broken Brown Egg, when I would get comments from women who wanted to...
The Broken Brown Egg. Yes, it is.
Our resources out here, and that they recognize that this is not competitive, this is support. So any other fertility organization that has an understanding of the different needs of Black women and people of color, I'm all about. I will shout you out, I will add you to the site. I'm big on that and making sure that people understand that we're building a community here. There's room for all of us, and the more of us that are speaking, the more people can feel seen and heard. So those are the main big things that we do. And we just got our 501c3 last year. So now we are a fully tax exempt charity, and we're hoping to do even more in terms of supporting people, either through initiatives that we...
See what I'm saying? See? Trying to tell y'all something, man. We can get in on this money. I'm gonna look that shit up. You know? They're doing it for evil. We must protect the brothers. Fucking trying to go sneak and get the shit fixed up. Right. Right. On account of the bad box that we know about. Come on now. Ain't trying to help nobody. We really are. The brothers. Yeah. Yeah. We need to be in. We can't. Yo, I keep telling y'all, now they got Venus and everybody. Y'all don't get it, man. I do not want to be left out of this, man. We put in a lot of work. We're the ones that's ahead of the game. They're going to come out and they're going to make brothers say, yo, that's good. They helping the sisters. No, nigga. Some other shit, man.
Can now do with better support or even just finding ways to help people financially. So I'm really excited about that and adding the concept of pipeline to this, the fact that we need more Black doctors, we need more therapists, we need more people of color in the fertility center. So that's our other newest initiative that we're hoping to push towards is how do we get more people in these fields so that when there are conversations about where to place a fertility center, there's somebody on that.
So when there are conversations to where to place a fertility center. Now I told y'all laughed at me again. Y'all laughed at me again. I can't bring it up because King Disagreeable gonna laugh at me. But I told y'all what I could, we can create our fertility center. People laughed at me. I know what I'm talking about here, man. Just, I'd rather definitely get it with King Disagreeable with the markets, but this would be like our hobby,
Staff that goes, hey, there's nobody by where I live, or there's nobody, so how can we help with that? So those are.
She's scamming the government, man. We need to follow this model.
What we do.
And it's really in tune also with what the USA Fibroid Centers does, because the USA Fibroid Centers, which are part of the USA Vein Clinics, are right in the neighborhood. They're right in the community. There's, ones in the Bronx. There's ones in Brooklyn. There's ones, in Dallas where I am. There are 2 locations right in the neighborhood. They're excited.
Listen, they got all these different centers and high-tech new technology just for the brown broken egg to get fertilized, man. Like I said, they're ahead of it, if you ask me. But one thing we know, ain't no men ahead. Only person I seen was Rizza Islam. He teamed up with them to try to get this money with this false positive hope. Now remember, we still stand on the most important factor as far as gaining our clients, which turns out to be the hangout or whatever the case is, where men deserve to be funded for everything that they've been through. We got our own angles, players. Like, we call this shit a crime that they misdiagnosed and they're hurting our men. We want government money. We need a place for these guys that go through all these ectopic miscarriages and all this bullshit because of these misdiagnosed bad boxes. You understand? Like I said, man, when you see these fucking horrible people, you just, throw up and shit, fucking trying to monetize bad box against niggas.
Accessible to people. So it's so important to be right where the people are, to not just hide yourself in a hospital or be in a nice neighborhood, quote unquote, but just to be someplace where the people are and where the people can get to you. Be on the train line, be right there where the women need help the most. So that is so important. So thank you for recognizing that. I love your comment about us working together and sticking together and giving and supporting each other. And so I definitely want to shout out your new book.
I gotta do my book. I'm not letting this happen. I got a lot of work ahead of me, man. I got a lot of these people are monetizing this bad bucks. We got some work here, see, because what they're doing, in my estimation, is presenting it, and that gives us the right opportunity. You know, they trying to make it like it's the shit. We bring that real angle towards this. You understand? Exposing you niggas for lying and being liars. You don't try to talk about misdiagnosed, a liar. Yeah, I mean, I do work on it when I'm, you know, when I take my rides in the car. I do all my thought patterns. I ain't got nothing written down, but I definitely got my formula. I can do it. I got the formula. I always rehearse it. I just didn't know they was this serious with this shit. I ain't gonna lie.
Thank you.
She is also an author, and her book is called Make If Make Sense, Putting Words to the Fields of Infertility. Let me say that one more time. Make If Make Sense, Putting.
And guess what? And I like it. The reason why I like it is because we could actually, I like it, go against everything they're doing. Make sense. The stupidity, like, you know, you can play off their stuff. You can do what you want. This is an open forum for us players. Let's come together with this stuff, man.
Words to the fields of infertility. So for all of our sisters on here who are suffering from infertility because of fibroids, there's a couple things.
For all my brothers that's suffering because all these bitches are infertile, you understand? They keep thinking they're saying something. Always disregarding the men. Nah.
Before we get into the book, there's a couple things. First of all, you could be experiencing infertility because of fibroids. If you are, you need to contact USA Fibroid Centers. You also need to have the conversation with your doctors about your options. Doctors will not always give you all of the treatment.
They're actually trying to make scientific babies through government money for Black people. These are some horrible people, y'all. These people are horrible. I'm not saying they need to be stopped, but I'm just saying we need to get ours as well. You know, it's we're basically, you know, the Thanos or the villain of this so-called hero journey that they're rocking. No, the villain is very valid. The villain is the person that you are fleecing. Every brother that should not have to deal with you, he should have the choice to pick around you. And the perfect sentiment of why you ain't shit is because you know you can't deliver and you won't let them go.
Options. They specialize in a specific option. So that's probably the option that they're going to offer you. So it's up to you to educate yourself about all of the options when it comes to find out what your options. Go to the Broken Brown.
Following along with what I felt was what we were supposed to do. You get a good job, you get married, you get a good job, you do that.
Let's go.
Unexpected feelings that infertility can present. And, you know, it'll give you a little humor and give you some insight. And there are some specific areas in this book that I can't wait to read it, first of all. But the fact that you have information in there about the unexpected cause of infertility, dealing with IVF and all the other treatments for infertility, even adoption, it feels like something is just for white folks.
Mm-hmm.
Black man, do not let these women convince you as a Black man, and you did not grow up thinking you was going to be adopting nothing. Don't you ever let these people try to talk you into that shit. These are horrible, community breaking people, man.
Not, and you open our eyes to that in this book. So let's talk about, you know, first of all, let's talk about your inspiration for it all, your own infertility journey. Let's start there.
Let's go.
Yeah. So my husband and I have been married for a couple years. Like I mentioned earlier,
That's a lie already. You knew you was fucked up before you met him. Let's go.
Journey. Let's start there.
Yeah. So my husband and I have been married for a couple years. Like I mentioned earlier, we were part of Chocolate Brides, and I was following along with what I felt was what we were supposed to do. You get a good job, you get married, you get a good job, you do that.
See that? Just a liar. Just a liar, man.
And when we decided that we wanted to get pregnant, nothing was happening. And I had always had issues with my period, but
see, you're supposed to say that first. You're supposed to say that first, not after you get the guy. Horrible, man.
Yeah, so my husband and I have been married for a couple years. Like I mentioned earlier, we were part of Chocolate Brides, and I was following along with what I felt was what we were supposed to do. You get a good job, you get married, you get a good job, you do that. And when we decided that we wanted to get pregnant, nothing was happening. And I had always had issues with my period, but for whatever reason, you're taught sexual education, you're not taught reproductive health education.
Wow. 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 But anyway, let me talk to you niggas. HD Live. I'm sorry, HD Live. I know you guys are into the quick stuff, but I don't know. I don't know if I could use. I don't know if I need to be. I can't use GPT to write this shit. This is serious shit. You understand? Like I want it to be right. I want when the gladiators hear it, they know we know what you did last summer. I want it to be painful. You hear me? I done pushed GPT to the limit, man. That shit is fucking woke. That shit will not give you everything you trying to get as far as trying to, break this social bullshit. That shit is woke.
And we're in some senses, you just think, well, your period doesn't always do what it's supposed to do. It's never, not everybody has a normal period, and it might be painful. It is what it is.
That's what plain brown rapper like to hear them say. Yo, it is what it is. Ain't no explanation. I've taught everyone better than that. It's just a liar. But why does it work? Why does the lie work? Because there ain't no men there. And if the man was there, he don't know what they talking about. Not the way that we know.
I didn't realize that those were signs of a bigger issue. And so when nothing was happening, but meanwhile, I was having these periods that were lasting months long.
So I can't get pregnant for my husband, and I got periods that last a month long. You are a waste of a pussy towards that man. Why you didn't let him go? People are horrible, y'all.
And sitting in the ER trying to find someone to treat me.
And he got to run to the doctors with you all the time. He did not pick you for that reason. Anyway, y'all don't hear me though.
That's when it really dawned on me that there was something happening. And it took that frustration of feeling like nobody was listening to me and nobody was helping me for me to start the blog. And then during that, we were still trying to figure out our own fertility. So going back and forth to doctors trying to find out, well, why am I bleeding like this? And what is going on? And why am I not getting pregnant? And everybody seems to just want to give me birth control pills for whatever I'm coming in for. Birth control pills and telling me to lose weight.
Hello? Did you try to lose weight? HD Live, you know the rules, son. You know all this information, man. Come on, man. When we hear these people talk, we like, that's why I do it this way that I do it. I keep doing the class so you can have the information embedded. You know what I'm saying? That's why I keep doing it. I ain't getting no views or nothing, but for the brothers that's interested, we will be informed. And you also inspire me. I definitely need to. First thing I need to do, I'm gonna go to that Amazon Kindle stuff. I'm gonna figure this thing out, man. I'm gonna look into that 50CO13. You understand? I'm gonna check it out, man. You guys definitely inspire me from a class perspective in that regard, for sure.
And it wasn't until there was a doctor who actually was following my site, he reached out and was like, I'm going to be in Chicago. I'd love to meet you if you would join me and my wife for brunch. And I went, and while we were there, we were talking about all things advocacy and everything. And he said, maybe you should talk to your doctor about polycystic ovary syndrome. And I was like, what is that? And he said, you should, because I'm noticing things about your skin and some things that you've said on the blog.
You heard? I'm noticing things about your skin and your mustache and your beard. See what that doctor said? You niggas are just as smart as doctors. You understand me? Yo, the doctor said, I'm noticing your mustache and your skin and your beard and the combination of the two. Maybe you need to check that PCOS. That's what the doctor said, King.
Said, you know, maybe you should talk to your doctor about polycystic ovary syndrome. And I was like, what is that? And he said, you should, because I'm noticing things about your skin and some things that you've said.
Straight liar. Can't say, yo, he noticed my mustache in my bed. Just a liar.
What is that? And he said, you should, because I'm noticing things about your skin and some things that you've said on the blog. And I feel like it's probably PCOS, and that's treatable. It's not curable, but it's treatable. And so I went to the doctor and I told her, I think I might have PCOS. And she laughed it off and was like, you know, everybody's got Google and they think they're a doctor, and it's probably not, because you don't have any cysts. And I was so let down, but also, you know, you don't really know how to come back at a doctor. You don't know what to say. And I left feeling.
There you go, HD Live. Just a liar. But they get into this money with these lies. I think we should give it a try. You know? HD Live, man. We try to tell you to come on the Discord. You know what we dealing with. The stuff opens at about 6 o'clock. You know, we go into the money pit trying to get you over there, son. You know, we going to the money pit at 6 o'clock, son. All right, man. I'm out of here, man.